Now, tomorrow is the Third Coast Author and Book Festival, and there will be hundreds of folks there, including several of our local authors, including West Michigan's own Monica Amore. Monica, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are an author based here in West Michigan. Talk to me about what you've written and what your portfolio holds.
Okay, so I write dark fantasy romance.
Okay.
And I have 2 books out. So one of them is A Flame Under the Moon,
Okay.
which we see here. This is Fiona.
Right here.
She is our main female character.
Okay, perfect.
And she has this darkness and the hidden power that she's gonna, a power that she's gonna come into. And her love interest is Callian, which is, you see over there with the little banner.
Okay, right. Oh, this one right here on the.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Very cool. And so, how do you even go about creating these characters and writing a novel like this?
A lot of my ideas come from dreams.
Okay.
Oh.
And sometimes they're, I dream very vividly. All 5 senses and everything. So usually that starts the bones of my story, and then it just kind of rolls off it. And I have an artist brain, so I also go by music. If I hear a song that inspires me, I just listen to that and I just keep writing. But yeah, they come from dreams, ideas and things like that.
Okay.
I love that.
And so this one is your most recent book, which is The Flame Under the Moon. Was there one, you have this one, which is Last Ride of the Umbra Fae, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, is that a part of a series, or is this a completely separate story?
So Last Ride of the Umbra Fae is a standalone.
Okay.
And so I'm mixing 2 genres, which is fantasy romance and dark western cowboy.
Interesting.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one was inspired, because I am from Los Angeles. I do have West Coast roots. I grew up in the desert, with my grandparents. So that is, a little bit of the backstory of the scenery and how I set up the scene. And then with A Flame Under the Moon, this reads as a standalone, but it's in a continual series.
Okay, interesting. So I'm curious as to how you even get started writing in this sort of genre. Were you inspired by any other books that you've read beforehand, or is this something that, hey, I think I could dive into this?
I've always really liked the fantasy aspects.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Disney fan.
Yeah.
I also like, Edward Scissorhands and just a lot of the sci-fi things, like The Witcher. I have a whole collection of things that I'm into. And I started reading a lot more in the fantasy romance, maybe 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of got inspired to write my own story and weave this magical world of my own, where it's rich world building and powerful women who have strong voices in their world. And that's kind of how it came about.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting because, your interpretation of the world that you're writing and creating might be somebody, completely different. They might think of what you've written in a completely different way, and it just transports them to that world that you've created. And I think that's so cool and part of the magic of reading, really.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big reader. I love reading. So the world building aspect of books is one of my favorite parts. I love that it all comes from dreams for you too, which is really interesting to hear, and I'm sure that you have really interesting dreams too. Wow. But getting into fantasy romance, that's such a big topic right now. I feel like that's a very hot genre that people are all after. What have you noticed as feedback from people that are reading your books?
They love it. I think what really resonates to me as an author is when they feel connected to these characters that I created. The moments that they go through, they're going through them with them. They're in my DMs, they're crying. They're like, oh my gosh, this was such a powerful moment. And all these things that made me emotional while writing, to see the readers also having the same experience, that just really, I guess, gives me more life to keep writing, because genuinely, I love telling a story where if you need to escape somewhere, or you just want to enter a different world, you want to experience someone's love story, and the fact that they connect with them a lot of different levels, even healing, as you know, every character has their arc. So she has a really powerful character arc, and when they feel connected to that too, it almost like we're all healing together.
Yeah. Of course, we know that you're a local author here. How do you even get started in the process of getting a book like this published? Because I mean, you have some pretty impressive artwork. This is a very impressive display that you've created here. I mean, you've got to have some sort of backing here to get this published, right? So what is that process?
It's a lot to do. You know, I purposely wanted to self-publish so I can, you know, just have the creative freedom to express my ideas and my thoughts. With A Flame Under the Moon, I worked with this fabulous company that works with indie authors as well as traditionally published. And then with Last Rite of the Umber Fae, my husband actually did that cover.
Oh my gosh.
I was wondering where the art was coming from.
That's awesome. And he's standing over here looking
So
very
cool.
proud.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. And it's cool that not only is it local writing, but it's also local artwork as well. I want to pull up a video, and this is you sharing a very special moment. Let's take a look. This is so cool. So explain this moment. You're at a Barnes & Noble. Where were you at, and what is this table that we're looking at?
I was at the Barnes & Noble location in Grand Rapids on 28th Street.
Okay.
And I was just going to go visit my book on the shelf, which I was very excited for. So my daughter was filming me, walking me in. I was not expecting a whole table to be displayed, and so it was genuine shock. And I think too, even without the audio, I don't even think I was making full sentences because I was so excited.
I love that. It's got to be a special moment as an author, right? To see what your product put out there on a table. Can you just articulate that? I mean, you're a local writer here. What is that feeling like?
I think for me, you know, being an indie author, because we do have to, you know, do a lot of this ourselves. We have to put a lot of our money up front to be able to see this, you know, in a big bookstore, and even any local bookstore. You know, my book is even in Pages and Grapes, which I am so excited. I got to stop by there and meet them over the weekend.
Yeah.
Just to see my book in stores is really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to feel so big for you, a moment as an author.
It is.
Before we move on to the festival, which you'll be at this weekend in Grand Haven, you actually have some exciting personal news to share about an audiobook. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. A Flame Under the Moon is getting an audiobook.
Okay.
Ooh.
And so is Last Rite of the Umber Fae, which, you know, I got the deal before it was released, and I'm very excited about that. So they're going to have voices. It's going to come to life. And
are you going to get to like kind of voice one of the characters?
No.
Do you know, or is somebody else going to do that?
Someone's going to do it. Yeah,
Okay.
It's a full production.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Well, everything falling into place for you. I think that's
so
awesome.
insanely exciting. Yeah, it's great to hear that it's going to become an audiobook, because that just opens up more of an avenue for so many more readers and listeners to be able to get your books too. With the festival that's coming up this weekend, kind of that outreach that you get to go out and see. I understand that you're auctioning off a couple of books as well.
Yes, for the Third Coast Author and Book Festival, we are going to be a part of the gala. And so that is a charity auction where my husband painted something, a woman crying over the pages of a book. You know, cancer has touched our lives in a very deep way, so we just wanted to participate and, you know, have him do that painting. And I'm going to donate some art prints and A Flame Under the Moon and Last Rite of the Umber Fae. That event, I think the tickets you can buy online, but the whole event itself is free. The festival is free.
Yeah.
The gala is a different one.
Yeah, the VIP event is separate. I think that one runs
Yeah.
$50 a ticket. We had them on yesterday, and that was what they were telling us. That's really cool, and it sounds like this means a lot to you to be able to give back in that way. Can you kind of explain what you're feeling with that?
Yeah, you know, so I've had a lot of relatives, you know, pass away from cancer. My grandma did. She had cancer, she survived that, but you know, to be able to give back in a way where, you know, we can help this cancer have, I think it was for retreats, anything that I can do to, you know, put something towards that and give back a little bit.
Absolutely. So aside from the festival that you'll be there tomorrow, aside from that festival in Grand Haven, you actually have a tour that you're getting ready to go on. So if people can't see it tomorrow, where can they see you along this tour?
I will have it posted on my website and on Instagram. I'm all going to be all over the place. I'm going to be at Pages and Grapes, I believe, in April, and then I'm going to do Barnes and Noble in, I think, Holland, Troy, Grand Rapids,
Okay.
Muskegon, and I'm also going to be in Smitten Books in Ventura, California on
Wow.
March 30th.
Okay, so not only just a little Michigan tour, but you're also spanning the coasts here.
A little bit, yeah.
You're going to the second coast instead of the third coast, I
Yeah.
guess.
That's so exciting to hear.
Yeah.
Being able to meet some of the readers that have already kind of read your work, they're coming out to meet you, they're so excited. How does that feel too?
Yeah.
It's exciting. I get really excited. You know, it's almost like we're both gushing over the same characters that we are both
Yeah.
obsessed and in love with. You know, all these scenes and all these quotes. You know, my main character, Callie and Valor, he does have a lot of swoon-worthy things that a lot of girls highlight. You know, so we're like, she's like, you know, they'll tell me about that, and I'm like, yes, it's awesome. You know, and it's a really cool experience.
What's the number one question you get from book fans? You know, like they have a question about something that you've written that they've interpreted one way, and then you have a completely different interpretation of how you wrote that. What's like the number one question you get?
I think the number one question is where do I get my ideas from?
Okay.
Because they're very vivid, and I describe things very vividly with a lot of the topics that I do touch base on. Sometimes I write from things that I know, and sometimes it just comes off the top of my head. But I think that's one of the main questions that they like asking. Once in a while, I'll do get theories,
Okay.
which I love. I love it when
Love
they
a fan
really
theory.
dive deep into that. So I'm always down to talk about theories with that, because I am foreshadowing. I have a lot of Easter eggs with both of these books, and it's always interesting to see who will pick up on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Monica, where can people find you to follow you and follow your journey?
So I am mainly on Instagram under author Monica Amore.
Okay.
I do have my website, www.authormonicaamore.com, and I'm on TikTok.
Okay. Yeah, TikTok. We love TikTok.
Yeah.
What about where can people buy your books?
They can buy my books on my website. I'm on Amazon. I'm on Kindle Unlimited. I'm locally distributed to Barnes and Noble with The Flame Under the Moon. We'll be getting Last Ride of the Umber Fae
Okay.
soon.
Alrighty, and we're looking forward to seeing that on store shelves. Monica,
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us this
Thank you
morning.
so much.
Monica Amore, the author of these great books, honestly, really cool artwork. We really appreciate you coming in. And of course, if you're in Grand Haven tomorrow and want to stop by the festival, you can do that. We have the information on 13onyourside.com. 9:31 is the time. We'll be back after a short break.